All right, so shalom, shalom. It's brother Azamawath once again with another lesson. Got
Brother Oz.
got brother Oz with us, man. First and foremost, we're gonna give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shah, by Hashem Rakakadash. And it's all praise to the Heavenly Father and Son's name, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Real name in the Hebrew would be Yahweh Shah, right? And also give him praise, honor, and glory to the Holy Spirit as well, which is the force and spirit that makes this edification possible. All right, so today we're going to go into proving that America is Babylon. We speak about it all the time. We just kind of brush past it. Whenever we go through prophecies or whatnot, such as especially like the last 2 or 3 videos I put up on this channel and up on my last channel, Chosen Vessel. Oh yeah, as a matter of fact, if this is y'all's first time, watching a video, on this channel, the reason why I'm not doing it on Chosen Vessel is because they gave me 2 strikes, and those 2 strikes would basically be a sponge around August. So make sure that you definitely subscribe to this channel, Patience of the Saints, and also subscribe to Chosen Vessel, all caps, 144. Chosen Vessel, 144, all caps. All right. So yeah. So we were basically, in those last couple of videos, just saying that, America's Babylon, Babylon the Great, the daughter of Babylon, but today we're going to just kind of hone in on proving that America is Babylon, because you had some scoffers and you had some skeptics, I heard a case, not too long ago that, someone believes that Babylon is the whole world, but that's just not biblically compatible. As you read, especially Revelation 18, it talks about, and Revelation 17 talks about Babylon, that great city. It speaks about how Babylon influenced all the other nations. Scriptures make it clear that Babylon is a particular landmass, it's a particular kingdom or a particular country that's doing all this influence, to all these other nations. So let's deal with it. So first, hey, you mind grabbing 1 Peter 5:13 for me?
It's the book of First Peter, chapter 5, verse 13. The church that is at Babylon,
yeah,
elected together with you, saluteth you, and so does Marcus, my son.
Yeah, so here we have Peter, right? And we know that he was writing to the circumcision, which would be, the Jews, which comprised of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, right? And right here, he's saying that the church that is at Babylon, right? Because you still have remnants of our people, there. But the reason why I really want to get to scripture is because I want to go into this word Babylon in the Greek.
Strong's G 897, Babylon.
All right. And it says Babylon, confusion, right? And that's important to know, right? That's very important to know the meaning of the word Babylon, right? It stems from the word Babal, right, in the Hebrew. And it will take you to the humble beginnings, if you will, in Genesis chapter 11, I believe. That's the chapter, Genesis chapter 11, during the Tower of Babel. Well, what happened there? All nations mingled in together, right? And a lot of idolatry, a lot of rebellion towards the Most High. There's just a lot of mixing and confusion going on, and so the same thing is going to be happening to this Babylon the Great, or the daughter of Babylon, or mystery Babylon, as you read in scriptures, right? So let's look at line C, right? So just remember that Babylon means confusion, right? Let's look at line C. It says allegorically of Rome as the most corrupt seat of idolatry and the enemy of Christianity, which would mean, the enemy of, the Israelites, right? Because the Israelites are the true Christians. But key point I want to get was Babylon is also known to be allegorical meaning. So let's go into the definition of allegory, right? It says allegory, figurative treatment of an unmentioned subject under the guise of another similar to it in some way. So here in scriptures is letting it be known clear that Babylon isn't always necessarily speaking about a physical landmass, a physical entity, right? It's allegorical in some instances, right? And it's very important to remember that, right there in that definition, it says allegorical to who? Let's click back on it. Allegorically of Rome. Now, when you understand Bible prophecy, right, we understand that America is a revised Roman Empire, right? America is a revised Roman Empire. The same practices that Rome did, the same infrastructure, the same government structure, eating all the way down to the eating habits, man. All the way down to the religious aspect. It all stems from Rome, right? So this is why Babylon is used in scriptures as an allegory, also known as a spiritual overtone. So with knowing that it's spiritual, let's grab this real quick. Let's go to 1 Corinthians 2:14. Just like anything in these scriptures, man, it has to be spiritually discerned, right? This 1 Corinthians 2:14, he says, but the natural man, right, meaning the carnal man, receiveth not the things of the spirit of Yahweh, right? For they are foolishness unto him, neither can he know them because they are spiritually discerned, right? Spiritually discerned. So knowing that, in prophecy and Bible prophecy that, there's going to be this place in the end days is going to be known as Babylon. Well, this is going to have to be spiritually deciphered, man, right? Because anything, if it's not black and white, right, it leaves room for, the wandering mind or the unlearned mind to, think of it to be other things, right? This is why solely this has to be, built off of spiritual premise, right? And knowing that, let's grab, hey, you mind grabbing Revelation 11 verse 8?
Con, like I had a precept to go with that Corinthians.
Okay, yeah, we can get it. Yeah, what you got?
It's Romans 8 and verse 5. It says, for they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh.
And what, I'm glad you brought this out. Huh? It's a beautiful precept. It says, for they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh. And what is America, right? We're not going to call it Babylon right now, right? Just in case there might be some skeptics, right? But what does America propose? What does America perpetuate? Carnality, man, right? This is why most people are irreligious here in America. They did a survey not too long ago, and a lot of people don't even go to church anymore. A lot of people don't read the Bible. They don't believe in God. America promotes what? Evolution. Evolution is based off of what? Carnality, right? They eliminate a spiritual entity. They eliminate a spiritual power, that created spirits as well as the physical realm, man. Right? So a carnal mind does not mind the things of the spirit. But go ahead.
It says, for they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh, but they that are after the spirit, the things of the spirit.
Yeah, so those who mind the things that are of the spirit, right? And that's on all platforms. That's mind the things of the spirit is in all that covers all grounds, man. Even spiritual lands, right? Because as we're about to get in Revelation chapter 8, let's go there real quick. You're going to mind spiritual places, man, right? Because these things are spiritually discerned, right? You got that up?
This is Revelations 11 verse 8. And their bodies, and their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city.
It says of the great city, right? When you read Revelation, I believe chapter 17, it says Babylon, the great city, right? Go ahead.
Which spiritually is
Hold on, spiritually. Let's go into that word spiritually. Spiritually, see, by the aid of the spirit. Look at this. Figuratively, just for edification's sake, let's just, figurative. Says emblematic, metaphorical. See that? Metaphorical, allegorical, metaphorical, involving figures of speech, right? So it's not the literal thing, right? So when we mention Babylon in scriptures, being America, yes, we know this isn't the actual Babylon, landmass wise, right? So this is a spiritual thing we're talking about. America promotes the spirit of Babylon, right? And this is why it's also known as the daughter of Babylon, because let's get that real quick in Ezekiel 16. Ezekiel 16 and 44.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 16, verse 44. Behold, everyone that uses
Hold
proverbs.
on, everyone that uses proverbs. What are proverbs? Proverbs is a wise saying. Proverbs is it's a grave phrase. What does a grave phrase mean? Meaning it's a deep phrase. Right? When you consider a grave, it's something that's underground. You got to dig into it to see what's inside of it. Right? So whoever uses proverbs, which is what these prophecies are enshrouded in. These prophecies are enshrouded in proverbs. They're enshrouded in dark sayings. Sayings that's not easily seen because it's not into the light. That's why you need the light, which is Yahweh Shah, to basically shed light upon these dark sentences, these proverbs. Right? So you start from the top, Baba Shah.
Behold, everyone that uses this proverb shall use these proverbs against thee, saying, as is the mother, so is her daughter.
You see that? As is the mother, so is her daughter. This is why Babylon is known as what? The mother of harlots and also the daughter of Babylon. Why? Why is it known as the daughter of Babylon? Because it's just like the mother. What was the mother Babylon? Physical Babylon, right? Over there in the Middle East. So this daughter of Babylon is going to be just like the mother, right? It has a spiritual overtone to it. When you consider, a mother and daughter, here in real life, is the daughter the same thing as a mother? No, right? But she comes in the spirit of her mother. She does the same things that her mom does, right? If her mom was a hoe, she's going to be a hoe, right? And that's exactly how scriptures paint Babylon, right? That's exactly how scriptures paint Babylon. So where are we at? Let's go back to, Revelation 11:8.
And their bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt.
That's spiritually called Sodom and Egypt, right? So this is why we have to have the spirit, right, to help us discern these things, right? So this place right here that's spoken about in Revelation chapter 11, right, it has a spiritual overtone. It's known spiritually to be Sodom and Egypt. So once again, what type of spirit does Sodom come in? Adultery, fornication, illicit sex acts, bestiality. What about Egypt? Captivity, slavery, right? Harshness, cruelness, bitterness, right? You go ahead.
It says, who where also our Lord was crucified.
Where also our Lord was crucified, right? And this is concerning, the body of Yahweh Shah, which will be his brothers and his sisters, man, which will be the Israelites. We were crucified because we make up the body of our Lord Yahweh Shah, right? And also when you go to that word crucified in its etymological sense, it means to be X'd out, right? And this is also the place where Yahweh Shah, his true nature, his true men, his true followers, and his true image was X'd out, man. Right? It was all done here in a place that has a spiritual that embodies the spiritual overtone of Sodom, Egypt, and Babylon. Right? So let's get some more scriptures to prove it. All right. Let's grab Revelation chapter 17. Starting from the top.
The book of Revelation, chapter 17, from the top. And there came one of the seven angels, which have the seven vial, and talked with me, saying unto me, come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters.
And those waters, let's get this. Revelation chapter 17, verse 15. He says, and he said unto me, the waters which thou sawest, all right, where the whore sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues, right? So these waters isn't physical waters, right? It's speaking about the nations, right? The peoples and the multitudes, right? Because as we're going to understand, Lord willing, the Spirit is dealing with you all, because once again, just like anything dealing with the Spirit, it comes with faith, right? You have to have faith that America is Babylon in the scriptures, right? Because it doesn't have the word America right here in the scriptures, right? But we know, according to Revelation chapter 18, Jeremiah 50, Jeremiah 51, that there's going to be a place in the end times where the Lord is going to judge, right? And is known as the daughter of Babylon and Babylon the Great, right? So that it takes faith to know that this is America, right? And when all these things line up cohesively and perfectly, like, dang, well, America does, sit upon many nations. A lot of people do, flock over here. Let's just look at something real quick. What was that? Yeah, that's what it was. All right. This is a picture of the Statue of Liberty, right? In a place called New York, which is also known as, the melting pot. All of America is known as a melting pot. Here you have a woman, right? You have a woman, man, sitting up on many waters. This is just, we're not using this to prove that Babylon, is America, but this is definitely, something through the Spirit that the Lord had in the workings to help, those men and women who have a keen mindset to how the Spirit is working. Hey, everything is, hey man, it lines up, right? You got a woman sitting up on many waters, right? And this is the melting pot. Let's go here real quick. This is what does a melting pot mean? Well, let's keep reading, and then we'll get this later. Yeah, let's go to verse 2 up.
It says, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication.
So the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication, right? So this whore, right, that's sitting upon many waters is going to make many nations drunk with the wine of her fornication, basically drunk with her philosophies and abominations, right? And if you don't understand that America is an abominable, country, by now, I don't know what to tell you, right? This place influences, it has influence over all these different countries, man, right? This is why people, like to come here to chase that American dream, right? Let's look here real quick. It says the melting pot, because this is what America is known for, the melting pot. The melting pot comes from the idea, right, that all of the cultural differences in the United States meld together. See? And that's where the confusion comes in, right? Because according to Deuteronomy chapter 32, right, the Lord separated the nations, right, according to the bounds, according to the children of Israel, right? So, but here, once again, just like at what happened at the Tower of Babel in Genesis chapter 11, all nations came together, right? Well, what nation is known for doing the same thing, promoting this? We're reading it right here in real time, man, right? America says the melting pot comes from the idea that all of the cultural differences in the United States meld together as if they were metals. Man, hey, that's cold too. As if they were metals being melted down to become a stronger alloy, rather than embracing multiculturalism, as is the policy in Canada and some other countries. The United States encourages different cultures to assimilate to its own, and that's the great whore giving those other nations that wine by forcing them basically subtly Salaki, this thing smoked out, by making these other nations to drink of her wine, right? By making them assimilate. Salaki, give me 1 second. All right, I'm back. So yeah, let's go back. Let's go to. All right, we'll just keep reading. We'll keep reading to about verse 6.
Okay. It says, so he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, And I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet colored beast,
Mhm.
full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns.
Yep. And this, not trying to get too deep off into it because this isn't the topic, for today. But basically, the 7 heads is concerning, where this beast system sprung up from, which would be Greece, Rome, Spanish, Italy, France, Germania Minor, and Germania Minor, right? And those 10 horns would be consisted um, uh, of the EU, the European Union, right? So you got NATO and the EU, right? So you go ahead.
And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet colored.
Yeah. So
And
basically, because purple, especially in our culture, in the Middle East culture, purple. If you got purple on, and you're rich, you're decked out. You go ahead.
and decked with gold and precious stones
Mm-hmm.
and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand full of abominations and filthiness of her fornications.
Mm-hmm.
And upon her forehead was a name written,
You
Mystery.
see that? Mystery, just like the spirit. The spirit is mysterious because you can't see it, you can't touch it, you can't feel it. Well, you can feel it, because John chapter 3 likens the spirit as unto the wind. You can't see it or touch it, but it goes as whatsoever it listeth, right? So this is mysterious, right? So this is why, once again, spiritual things are spiritually discerned. So you got to understand that this mystery Babylon, has been searched out now. Is none other than America, right? You go ahead though.
Babylon the Great,
Mm-hmm.
the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth.
Yeah, and that's and through the spirit, that's none other than America, right? Because especially during Trump's term, what did he say about America? Let's make America great again. Let's make America great again. And America is the mother of harlots, right? And she's the mother because all these other nations just practice what she does. This is why you have East Indian women coming over here who in their homeland they'll be dressing modest. They wouldn't have all that makeup on. They wouldn't be dressing in yoga pants and high heels, and but they come over here and they partake of this harlotry, man. They partake of the abominations over here. They eat, they start eating shrimp, crab, pork, and lobster. You know,
God.
they
Hey, I
break
was
away.
just talking with hey so lucky. I was just talking to the Ox and Akim, and they was like, one of the women he was talking to was from Nigeria, and she was saying that most of the women from Nigeria, they know that America is a woman's world. So like, because they know over in Nigeria, the man is above the woman and he rules. Well, some of the women like it over here now
Mhm.
because it's changing their ways. It's making them feel like, oh, I can do this now, or I can't do this as you was going into.
Yep, yep, and that's why scriptures likens Babylon, right, which is America, the lady of harlotries, right, because and mother of harlots, because it gives off a feminine vibration, man, right, and that's a telltale sign that the nation is on its way to fall out of power, right, because me and Brother Nakwam had did a video, a couple of months back, looking at the way how Rome basically crumbled, and they crumbled, when they started exalting the women, putting the women, in political positions. Well, who you got today? Down Kamala Harris, you know, this country, this so-called kingdom or lack thereof promotes feminism, man. Right? But you go ahead though. So this mystery Babylon the Great, right, is going to be doing what according to Revelation chapter 6? I mean, Revelation 17 verse 6. You go ahead.
It says, and I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints
Uh-huh.
and with the blood of the martyrs of Yahweh.
So how was America, right? How was America drunken with the blood of the saints? Come on, man. How did we get here? All right, what happened when we got here? What did they do to us on our way over here? They were drunk, right? They got basically when you're drunk, that means that it's in excess, man. Right? They killed us in excess, murdered us in excess. All right. America's drunk with the blood of the saints, man. This ground is saturated with our blood. All right. You go ahead.
And when I saw her,
Read and the blood of the martyrs. Go ahead.
it says, and with the blood of the martyrs of Yahweh Shah.
And that's speaking about especially the times that we about to come into, here shortly. Jacob's trouble, you know, because you're gonna have a lot of martyrs for Yahweh Shah, man. Right? So this is another way how you know that this is speaking about Babylon, man, to the spirit. You good?
And of the beast that carried her with the seven.
Yeah. Nah, verse 6.
Oh, my fault, my fault. So like, and when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration.
Admiration. Yeah. So even
Admiration,
John,
my fault.
yeah, so even John the Revelator, man, when he saw this, all right, when he saw this kingdom, he wondered, man, with great admiration. Is that not what people do? Right? With America, they wonder at this place, about his way of life, his infrastructure, its technology, its people, everything, the food, everything, man. That's why everybody want to come over here, right? But now, while this kingdom is crumbling, now people have realized that they've been sold a false, what do you call it? A false lifestyle, man. So let's get into to some of the main scriptures. All right, let's go to the book of let's go to Jeremiah 50 and 33. All right, and another reason why Christians don't really understand, you got some Christians that believe that America is Babylon, but one reason why, for the most part, a lot of them don't understand is because they don't know who the true children of Israel are. They're thinking that the true children of Israel, are those, I don't want to get another strike, but those people over there in the Middle East, in Israel right now. Right. But now, since we understand who true children are, the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans, right? Now we can further examine this place called Babylon, right? Because these people, the Israelites, will still be there. All right. So you go ahead and Jeremiah 50.
You want verse 33?
Done.
Thus said Yahweh of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah.
So the children of Israel and the children of Judah, right? The children of Israel is speaking about the northern kingdom tribes, man. All right. The northern kingdom tribes, right? And the children of Judah is speaking about Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. All right. So if you consider what happened during after the kingdom was rent from Solomon, right? When you read out, I believe that's 1 Kings chapter 12, right? Talks about how shortly after, a few chapters later, how the northern kingdom, they were taken into captivity with the Assyrians, right? And then, as years progressed, right, they eventually, when you read 2nd Ezra chapter 13, they came over to this place called Arsareth, right? And when you do your research to Arsareth is none other than America. It literally tells you that in the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary, right? So we know, according to the Bible, right, that the children of Israel, the northern kingdom tribes, they'll be in Arsareth, right? And the children of Judah, right, at that time, they were still in the Babylonian captivity, right? So we're two totally different places, man, right? So let's keep reading. Go ahead.
And all that took them captive.
Read that again.
It says, thus said Yahweh of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together.
So when did that happen? Right, because it sure didn't happen back then, right? Because like we just said, the northern kingdom, they were in the in the Syrian captivity, and we were in the Babylonian captivity. See, so when we are oppressed together, none other than here in America, man. All right, you go ahead.
And all that took them captive held them fast. They refused to let them go.
See that? And this is in connotation to Babylon. Babylon held us fast and wouldn't let us go, right? Because let's look at the title of this chapter. It says the prophecy against Babylon. Right? Jeremiah 50 and Jeremiah 51 is dedicated solely to the destruction of Babylon and while the Lord is going to be judging her. So the children of Israel, the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom, we were only oppressed over here together. That's the key point. Together over here in the land of America. So that's another clue and another reason why we know that America is Babylon, because that didn't happen back then. The northern kingdom wasn't in ancient Babylon with us, man. All right. So let's grab this. Let's go to Isaiah 13. We'll start at verse 19. Let's see. Okay, yeah. You start verse 19.
This is Isaiah 13 and 19. It says, in Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldeans,
And
is
Chaldeans just simply means Babylonians. All right, you go ahead.
excellency shall be as when God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah.
Mm-hmm. And ancient Babylon wasn't burned up, right? Because how did the Lord overthrow Sodom and Gomorrah? With fire and brimstone. Did that happen in ancient Babylon? No. The Medes, took them over. The Medes and the Persians, came over there and executed war, upon Babylon. Fire and brimstone wasn't raining out of the sky. So this is how you know Isaiah 13, this Babylon is speaking about, once again, Babylon the Great, America, because according to Revelation chapter 18, America going to get that strange rain. All right. You keep going.
It says, it shall never be inhabited.
And that's another key point, right? Because ancient Babylon would be today modern Iraq. Well, are people still living over there? Yeah. Right? He says it shall never be inhabited. But once again, when you read Jeremiah chapter 50 and Jeremiah chapter 51, it says that Babylon the Great, well, not Babylon the Great, but the daughter of Babylon isn't going to be inhabited, right? And that's speaking about in a future time sense, right? Because once again, people are still living over there in that land today. So is God a liar? No. So what does that mean? That prophecy, this prophecy hasn't been fulfilled yet. This is speaking about the spiritual Babylon. This Babylon that's like that definition we got in First Peter 5. That what was that? What was that word? Figuratively. It's a figurative speech, man. Right? You keep going.
Neither shall it be dwelt in for generation to generation.
Yeah, people are still dwelling over there. Go ahead.
Neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there.
Well, who lives there today? The Arabians, man. Keep going.
Neither shall the shepherds make their fold there.
Uh-huh. Keep going.
But wild beasts of the desert shall lie there,
Uh-huh.
and the house shall be filled with doleful creatures,
Uh-huh.
and owls shall dwell there, and what's that?
Satire.
Satires shall dance there.
And so basically he's talking about how it's just gonna be like the apocalypse, It's gonna look like an apocalypse just happened over there. It's just, just dead and dry. You just got little creatures and critters, unclean beasts living over there. Well, that's not the thing, man, because Iraq is a kingdom today, man. People still live over there. People still function. They go to work. They eat. They pitch tent there. All right. So this is speaking about this spiritual Babylon, and that's promised to mystery Babylon, right? That in Revelation, right? That mystery Babylon will never be inhabited, man. All right. So this is none other than America. All right. So let's grab this in Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 1. We'll read all the way down to verse 5.
You said 50 and 1.
Uh,
Jeremiah 50 from the top. It says, the word that the Lord spoke unto Babylon and against the land of the Chaldeans by Jeremiah the prophet.
And because, we do know that Jeremiah was sent to go prophesy against, that physical landmass of Babylon. But once again, with him being a prophet, what do prophets do? They prophesy of things to come in the future as well. So a lot of his prophecies, especially in Jeremiah 50 and 51, and 49, and also Jeremiah chapter 3, which we'll get that in Jeremiah chapter 3, it ran over, spilled over into this Babylon today. All right, so you keep going.
Declare ye among the nations and publish and set up a standard. Publish and conceal not. Say, Babylon is taken. Baal is confounded. How you say that out?
Merodach.
Merodach is broken into pieces.
Mhm.
Her idols are confounded. Her image are broken into pieces. For out of the north, for out of the north there cometh up a nation against her, which shall make her land desolate, and none shall dwell therein. They shall remove, they shall depart, both man and beast.
Mhm.
In those days,
Now, so hold on. This key point right here. So now he's saying in those days. So when this happens, what's going to happen? Go ahead.
and it says, and in that time, said Yahweh, the children of Israel shall come.
Oh, the children of Israel, northern kingdom. Go ahead.
The children of Israel shall come, they and the children of Judah
So the southern
together.
kingdom as well. So the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom, we're going to come after the destruction, right? That's going to happen upon this Babylon, right? From that's coming out of the north country. And what are the children of Israel and the children of Judah going to do?
Going and weeping, they shall go and seek Yahweh their power.
Well, did that happen back then? No, because the northern kingdom was in Arsareth, right? The northern kingdom was in Arsareth, and the southern kingdom was where? All right, still in the Babylonian captivity, about to come out of it, right, and go back into our land and rebuild, the city, right, and the temple. But you go ahead.
They shall ask the way to Zion with their faces, was that featherward,
Thitherward.
saying, come and let us join ourselves to Yahweh in a perpetual covenant.
Hold on, that's the new covenant, man. That's the new covenant. They're saying after they leave this place, Babylon, the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom, they're going to go back to Zion and ask the Lord in weeping and in tears, let's seek him in the perpetual covenant. Did that happen back then? Can you find any record, all right, of the northern kingdom and southern kingdom doing that then? No. That's why he said in
Hey, so
those
like, yeah,
days.
I got to take this call real quick. Hold on.
Okay, Con. That's why he said in those days, that's when it's going to happen. This is literally the new covenant, right? And if you're Israelite, we already know that we're not in the new covenant yet, right? Because according to the new covenant, you don't have to teach your neighbor, every man know the Lord. I wouldn't have to be doing this video, to be, to send it out to my nation, all right? Because according to the new covenant, we're all going to know the Lord. The law, statutes, and commandments are going to be in our heart. We won't be able to sin, right? Yahweh Shah is going to be the king over us physically right here on planet Earth, all right? And we'll already be back in our land. So this didn't happen, man. This did not happen. So this is how you know, once again, that this Babylon, especially in Jeremiah chapter 50 and 51, right? Speaking about, in some contexts, it's talking about the spiritual land, Babylon, America, right? So let's read that part again, verse 5. It says, they shall ask the way to Zion with their faces thitherward, saying, come and let us join ourselves to the Yahweh in a perpetual covenant. That's a new covenant that shall not be forgotten. See that? That shall not be forgotten. So that obviously did not happen yet, right? Because during that time you had Northern Kingdom over here, especially Gad, man, and Reuben, doing the rain dances, sun dances, not in the new covenant yet. Law wasn't in their heart, still worshiping different gods, man. And we still doing that today. So we can't possibly be in the new covenant, man. That didn't happen yet. All right. So that's going to happen after the Lord delivers us from this Babylon. Right. So let's grab this real quick in Jeremiah 3 and 18. Let me
This
see
is
something.
Book of Jeremiah, chapter 3, verse 18.
Hold on. What just happened? Man, my computer's messing up again. I got a black screen, bro.
Oh, I can see your mouse moving.
For real, can you still see me?
Yeah, I can still see you.
All right. Oh, man, this happened before. What did I do? Man, Satan, bro. Hold on. All right, there we go. Can you see me?
Yeah.
All right, good.
This is Jeremiah chapter 3, verse 18.
Hold on 1 second. Let me see. We can start at verse 17.
Okay. Verse 17. At that time they shall call Jerusalem the throne of Yahweh, and all the nations shall be gathered unto it, to the name of Yahweh to Jerusalem. Neither shall they walk any more after the images,
Imagination.
after the imagination of their evil heart.
Now, is that happening right now? Are
Uh,
people, calling Jerusalem the throne of the Lord? No, right? They are not. Right? People are still walking after the imagination of their own evil heart. Right? Over there in the so-called, Middle East, Jerusalem, you still got those, the Amalekites, I call them that today so they don't give me another strike. Still doing all types of abominations over there, man. There's war over there right now. So obviously this hasn't come to pass yet. So let's keep reading. What's going to happen?
In those days, the house of Judah
So
shall
he said
walk.
in those days, meaning in the future time, man. In those days, go ahead.
In those days, the house of Judah shall walk with the house of Israel.
That southern kingdom and northern kingdom, we're going to be coming back together. We're going to walk together. Go ahead.
And they shall come together out of the land of the north.
Out of the land of the north. The same land that we read in Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 33, that we were both oppressed together in. And the land of the north is also known as Babylon, man. Right now, let's grab this picture, because we do know that the ancient land of Babylon was also known as the land of the north, because here Israel is right here, right? Let me see if I can zoom in. Here Israel is right here in this little region, right? But this whole empire was owned by the Babylonians, right? And it was north of Israel, right? Their headquarters, I want to say their headquarters was right over here. This was north of Israel. So this is why this was known as the land of the north. But also in the spiritual overtone, America is also known as the land of the north, right? Because the land of the north was Babylon back then, and Babylon today is America. So once again, let's start from the top in verse 18.
In those days, the house of Judah shall walk with the house of Israel, and they shall come together out of the land of the north to the land that I have given for an inheritance unto your fathers.
You see that? Has that happened yet? No, you don't see the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans over there in the land today, right? Why? Because it didn't happen yet.
And after they left the Babylonian captivity, they didn't go back into the land. They went into another captivity.
Exactly. Well, we did go back, into you're right. Yeah, after the Babylonian captivity, we went to the Medo-Persian captivity, but they allowed us to rebuild our city. They allowed us to rebuild our city back then, but we were held in captivity, man. After that, all right. Then we were tossed into the Greek captivity. Once again taken out of our land. So this didn't happen yet, man. All right, so let's grab one more. We might grab a couple more. We'll just see. Spirit does. Let's grab Micah chapter 4, verse 10.
This is Micah chapter 4. You want what?
We can start at verse 10.
All right, this is Micah chapter 4, verse 10. Be in pain and labor to bring forth, O daughter of Zion, like a woman in travail. For now shall thou go forth out of the city.
Yeah, and this is speaking about 70 AD, right? We're like a woman in travail. Revelation chapter 12 speaks about the same thing, right? We left the city. We went forth out of the city, like Yahushua said in Luke 21:24, right? During the year 70 AD, right? Because of the siege, 2/3 of us got slaughtered, and that remnant, that 1/3, we left out of the city. Where did we go? Go ahead.
It says, for now shalt thou go forth out of the city, and thou shalt dwell in the field.
And that field is speaking about the world, right? Particularly the anteriors of Africa, right? Because that's where we fled into, eventually settled and migrated, or eventually migrated and settled onto the western coast of Africa. You had, some speckles of us to go, to the land of, Ethiopia and Cush and Pathros. That's spoken about in Isaiah 11, but a large lump of us went to the West Coast, man, on the Gold Coast, right? So we, went into the field, which is, going into Africa. Go ahead. The anteriors of Africa. You go ahead.
And thou shalt go even to Babylon.
Hold on. So after we leave that field, then we're going to go to Babylon. right? Where did a lot of us go? To America, man. You know, to America. Because this is where the Lord is going to do, this is where he's going to do his ultimate showdown. Because according to Jeremiah 51:33, the daughter of Babylon is the threshing floor. What's the threshing floor? That's where a farmer, you know, he gets to work, man. Right? He starts chopping down them crops, taking the good, burning up the bad. Well, that's what the daughter of Babylon is going to be. This is where all the work is going to be done. Why? Because his people are in Babylon. Go ahead, Op.
It says, there thou shalt be delivered.
You see that? And he says, and you shall go. Let me start right here. And thou shalt dwell in the field, and thou shalt go even to Babylon, and there thou shalt be delivered. In the ancient land of Babylon, were we delivered? Nah. Like I just said, we went into captivity after captivity after that. Right? So this spiritual Babylon, right? This is the place where we're going to be delivered. I believe I'm going to be delivered here, Lord willing. Right? So proving that this is Babylon, man. All right. You go ahead.
It says, there Yahweh shall redeem thee from the hands of thine enemies.
See that? From there, that's where the Lord is going to redeem you. The Lord did not redeem us, right, physically from the ancient land of Babylon, right? Because it wasn't time. But this Babylon, he will, right? Going to show you that this is America, man. Babylon is America according to the Holy Bible, right? And you know, I had a couple more precepts, but you know, Lord willing, you got the point. You know, if anybody got any questions, you know, comments or concerns, you know, just leave a comment. You know, we go a little deeper into it. But yeah, with that, you know, I hope you was edified. You know, and you got any closing remarks out?
No.
Gone. So yeah, with that, I hope you was edified. Till next time, you know, Mawaf Ball, Shalom.
Shalom.